I can relate because there's something about more glory. There's about a good amount of pride knowing you're going to go out your way.
Yeah.
You know, and that was something like with back in October, I got told that, well, I don't know what all's gone on with you, but I know like if you kind of, after 29 years of bodybuilding, don't take a break for a little bit, you're going to have an issue with your spine that you're going to regret. And it was like, oh, okay. But by then I had already amassed so much that I was like proud of it. But I relate to exactly what you're saying. Like you should be proud of getting these scars on it because one day it's an injury and you're out.
Yeah.
Like it's over with. Like we see that all the time in football. Some guy will take the wrong cut and an ACL's out and they're never the same. So I really respect that attitude. Just give it all because you've only got one shot.
Yeah.
So FOMO, that's one thing I'm super curious about, the fear of missing out. I know you make those tough decisions to say, I'm not going to go out and drink or party. I've never even known you to really be a partier, but you still make those tough choices. Do you ever feel like you're missing out on other things?
I don't, because the choices I'm making are for the things that are most important to me. I guess if I had FOMO, it'd be, I don't know if it'd be FOMO, but the fear of regret. Like I don't want to have any regrets, which is hard to know in the time. Like I hope I don't regret the amount of time I've spent in fitness as opposed to being a stay-at-home mom and like taking care of my daughter full time. Like I hope I don't regret that. And I don't think I will because there is such a level of, desire to show her, to show up for herself and to be herself. She can do that in addition to, the other things of being a mom and all that, but like be you, be who you are. And I really want to show her that. And so that comes at the cost of not being able to be home with her every single day, but I think it's worth it.
Well, you hit something important, which is be you, be that role model. What are the things you do besides fitness just to role model, this is what a parent should be. This is what, a female should be to a daughter.
Yeah. I think having positive female relationships is really important. And I don't know that I had that growing up as much. And that's not to say that there was anything missing in what my parents did. It was just the availability of resources. And, my parents didn't go to the gym, and there's different ways to have that. But for Sloan, I want her to see women supporting women, strong-ass women supporting strong-ass women. And it's not at the cost of their own growth, right? Like we're all excelling. And just because another woman excels doesn't mean I don't excel, her learning that early on, because I think that wasn't the case when I was growing up. And I think that was just in general, right? Like not necessarily my case, but.
So I'm super curious. I mean, with that missing a little bit when you're growing up, I think it's something broader in our generation.
Yeah.
Now that women are, they're embracing physical fitness in a way that they didn't. Whereas before is I'm going to do the minimal workout. I'm going to do just enough. Oh yeah, I'm lifting light weights to tone all the time. Now we see women who take control of their bodies and they're going to say, I'm strong. They're going to take control of their careers and they're going to achieve. Some men seem to be threatened by that. They're afraid to be with someone who takes that control and who's that positive, that strong force. Do you see that with any of the women in your life where, they have men that are holding them back, and how did they address that or handle it?
Thankfully, the people that we've surrounded ourselves with, I don't think have experienced that. And that might be intentional if we surround ourselves with people that have similar goals or ideals as us, or even better, that we want to be more like. So I don't see that as often, at least for us.
I'm just sitting here. I guess the question I have is when you go compete, you compete with a partner, okay? Why did you choose to compete with a partner instead of doing it solo? And what's the camaraderie like with women in your sport? So like meaning in bodybuilding, like we're all cool, but then we subsect out to the shit talking of each other. So that's why I was kind of curious what it was like behind closed doors. I know CrossFit's the same way, so I was curious how this is kind of set up and why you went double over single?
So I think a lot of the competitions, mostly in our gym that I'd done, were more solo. And that was fun, but we would also do team ones every once in a while. And I really enjoyed that. It's just I started to show up more for my partner than I would possibly for myself. I started to fear that, like, if I'm just, having to answer to myself, that I might not be taking those 3 extra steps. And when I'm, training with a partner or competing with a partner, I do go above and beyond. And Allie and I are very similar in that. Like, we will not let each other down. Come hell or high water, like, we're going to push through. And so we are very similar in a lot of respects with our discipline. And so the opportunity to train with her, have her push me, have me push her, it was just like, I think it was just a mutual desire to do that. And so I'm glad we've had the opportunity. In terms of like the camaraderie, the female camaraderie, Hyrox is so cool. And I was so blown away in Dallas because for the kilometer run, you're basically running on the inside of a convention center. So you're running 2 or 3 laps, and there are a lot of people on that track. And we were going pretty fast. And so we'd have to yell like left, like we're coming left to get out of the way. Like I got a side stitch because we were trying to yell so much just to like keep going. And unfortunately, I think I like bumped a few people as we were running. Not,
It's a race. It's
Right.
not like, it's not a friendly jaunt. You can knock people out of the way.
But the thing with Hyrox is it's there's so many different levels. It's approachable for anybody. You can do it in 2 hours. You can do it in 1 hour, and everybody finishes. And everybody gets to celebrate it. But when we're on that track yelling at these people, the women, they would get out of the way and then they'd be like, you go girls. Like we were yelling at them to move, and they were responding by encouraging us, which is so cool and not something that I'd always experienced. And so to see that, there is a lot of support. And just even after that Dallas race, the people from the Hyrox community that reached out like, hey, I saw you guys on the track. I recognized, the logo or whatever, like you guys crushed it. Like there's really a strong support system there, which I just admire.
Yeah, I actually admire how much you train and the fact that you're not hormonally destroyed like I find most women in their late 30s from just doing boot camps, the lack of nourishment and so forth. So kudos to you. I was just curious about that, so thanks for answering.
With Hyrox in general, what Jeff said, the training's insane. The community I'm super curious on, because what I've seen is, unfortunately, women online seem to tear down other women to make themselves feel better.
Men do it too.
Yeah, men do too, and men tear down women a lot. There's a lot of weird dude trolls online. I see that a lot.
Yeah, that shit's getting all about women OnlyFans. Who cares?
But I'm starting to see a trend more and more in what you're saying, and I'll give you a good example. Shayna will talk to me and say, man, I saw Megan's post. I admire her a lot. Like I envy that. And I know you're starting to pay that forward. You even met with a friend of mine recently. So I'd love to hear more about what those conversations look like when someone looks up to you and they reach out and they say, hey, I really love what you do. Are you offering encouraging words? Are you giving advice? What does that look like?
Well, it's starting to look different. I am known for like not sharing secrets or not sharing training strategies. So as I'm finding the opportunity to connect more with other people, like I'm realizing, it's good to talk, right? It's one thing to share your training. It doesn't mean everybody's going to do the training, right? You have to identify the work and then do the work. So there's that whole thing. But as I'm having those conversations, it's just, trying to communicate, the approachability of fitness or a race, and just, trying to break it down into baby steps and to how to approach it. And just, I think communicating, like the baseline that fitness can be in one's life. Not everybody's going to train like I do or be willing to put in the time. That doesn't mean you don't do it. And so as I'm communicating with people, I think that's like the biggest thing I want to take away with is for them to take away is like fitness can be whatever you want it to be, but it should be something. Like everybody's life should have an element of fitness or movement, and that should be the standard. That should be the baseline.
Usually people come to me for that. It's like they have these big hopes and dreams. I'm like, well, that's great. But I know firsthand that's what these hope and dreams take. And they're like,
Yeah.
whoa. And then it
Yeah.
starts backing out.